What's up everybody, it's your boy Nick Noodles coming at you with another great video. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, and before I get into that I need to explain why we're making this video. So right now I have the FTP archive tee on, and the way FTP shirts fit, I like my shirts to be a little bit baggier, loose fitting, so they're more comfortable on me. I don't like the tight shirts, mainly because I'm a flabby man. But anyways, so this shirt is a large and I like the fit up top, but as you can see, it's super long. My waistline is like right here, so there's about just like 9 inches of extra fabric. And so I invested in a sewing machine, and I'm gonna show y'all how to sew and hem your own shirts so that they fit you perfectly. Supreme Poncho is being given away at 1,500 subscribers. We're about 80 away, so if you want to be in that giveaway, make sure you subscribe to the channel. More details will be announced as we get closer to that milestone. So yeah, let's go and shorten the length of this t-shirt. So before we get into sewing, we have to get everything set up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm heating up my iron because we're gonna want to press where we're gonna be sewing so that it's nice and flat and not wrinkled. So while you're setting up everything else, go ahead and set up your iron. I have it on the cod setting. So next you wanna mark the length of the shirt. And to do that, I like to put up a shirt that fits me perfectly. And that would be this Supreme shirt, which is a medium. And so you can see how much overlaps between how I like it to fit and how much is actually on the shirt. So I'm just gonna take these pins and just probably put one somewhere in the relative area of where I want to cut it. So now that I have this marked, I'm gonna fold the shirt inwards where I want the new edge to be. So as you can see right there, I have the pin that I put kind of pretty much flush with the edge. And you can see on the other end, it's pretty much even. Next, you're gonna wanna put some pins, just like maybe around the edges to keep this fold in place. So now we have all our pins in place, and it's keeping the fold in shape. So now we're gonna go ahead and iron this down so that it's super flat and crisp. So after you iron it, a nice crease should have formed without the pins holding it in place. So now we're gonna put the pins about every 6 to 9 inches. It doesn't really matter. You can put them as close or as far as you want. They're really just there to kind of guide you and keep you in a straight line. Make sure when you put the pin in, you're pointing it the direction that you're gonna be feeding the shirt. So I'm gonna be feeding the shirt to my sewing machine this way. So I want the pins to point in that same direction. That way, as they're going towards the needle, I can just pull them out. You probably want to place them about 1 inch up from where you're going to be sewing. So I'm probably just going to put mine somewhere up here. So now we have all the pins in, let's go and start sewing. So I'm not gonna go over how to set up the bobbin and the top thread, but I do wanna touch over the settings that I use. So I will be using a straight stitch. Let me go ahead and set that. And I do a stitch length of 4, and I keep the tension also at a 4. And this is the Singer 3337, I think. Sewing machines are kind of hard to find, so just look online. I got this at Walmart for $100, but there are a lot of people on Craigslist trying to sell them as well. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and line up the edge of your shirt with some kind of marking near your needle. So I have a couple lines here, and I'm aiming to do my first stitch somewhere maybe 1/2 inch up, 1/4 inch up. You don't have to be super precise with it. And another thing, you want to make sure you get thread that matches your shirt color. So I have a white shirt, I'm using white thread, and that'll pretty much hide all the imperfections you get when you're sewing lines, because odds are they're not going to be super straight or consistent. So definitely get a thread that matches your shirt color. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this up and then clamp it down. Okay, now the thing that took me a while to learn when you're sewing is you don't have to pull or tug on the shirt while the needle is sewing, there are actually feet underneath the needle that pull it through. If you tug on it, it's gonna ruin it. You might mess up the timings. I'm not really sure, but just let the sewing machine do all the work. All you really wanna do is just kind of maybe twist it and turn it so that it's sewing in a straight line as best as you can. So yeah, I'm just gonna let the sewing machine do all its work. As the needles get closer to here, you're gonna see me pull them out. So yeah, this is just gonna be the first stitch that goes all the way around. Another thing, you might wanna start towards the back of the shirt. So I'm actually gonna adjust this. And you wanna start at the back of the shirt because you're gonna be doing some reverse stitching at the end to tie off all the knots. And it'll just look better if it's in the back and not at the front. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I made it all around, and I did a little bit of a bad job keeping it from getting unwrinkled. So I tugged on it a little bit and it popped some of the threads. So I actually went around it more than once, which isn't too big of a deal. So now I'm towards the end where I wanna cut off the stitch, and all I'm gonna do is just reverse it for a few stitches and then just let it come back forward. That way it just ties a couple knots over itself. So once that's done, just turn the needle so that it goes to the highest position, then pull the thing up and then drag it out. So now that our first stitch is done, we're gonna do a second one about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch above it. Definitely at least 1/8 of an inch. And again, this time, I'm probably not, you can't put pins in it again if you want to, but I'm just gonna eyeball it since I am using white thread. So yeah, let's just get this second stitch in. So here I'm getting close to the end where I started. So I'm just gonna, once I pass that point, I'm gonna let it go forward, reverse it, and then let it come back again to finish off the knot. Depending on how much you fold it in, you can either leave it or cut it. I left a decent amount and I have the original hem on it, so I'm probably gonna cut like right where that original hem is. So the lighting in here isn't that great, but I'm pretty much done with the shirt. I'm gonna put it on in a few seconds. This is pretty much all the excess that I cut off from inside the shirt. It doesn't look the best inside, which could easily be touched up, but from the outside, I don't know if my lighting will pick it up, but the seam is pretty good. I know the shadow is kind of covering it. There are a few spots where it's a little bit wrinkled and pinched, but honestly, you can't really tell along the back. Again, I don't even know if my camera's picking that up. Here you can tell it's pretty pinched, but that is towards the back, so people probably aren't gonna see that much. So let's go ahead and put this thing on. Welcome back, everybody. We have the t-shirt on. I can't tell if you can tell the difference with the length, but it definitely doesn't seem as long as before. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now, do I recommend you go do this on your Supreme box logo? Probably not, but this was like a $30 shirt, so I wasn't afraid to mess it up. And honestly, I was pretty confident with it. I'm very new to this, if you couldn't tell, so if I can do a decent job, I'm sure that anybody else can out there. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you didn't cringe too hard at my sewing skill. But I hope y'all like this video. Again, hit the like button if you want to see more content. I have a bunch planned. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. Peace out.